As I mentioned, one of the things that we're working on is a playbook series of opening up a restaurant. We have a lot of people are coming to us, either their first time expanding and it's been a while, or it's their first time ever opening a restaurant. I know for you, David, you've have a ton of experience in our industry and you've opened other restaurants, but this is your first restaurant.
Yeah.
So we thought it was a great opportunity to hear a little bit about you and your journey on opening up Macarena.
Like you said, I've been opening restaurants since I was like 16 years old back in Spain. That's when I started working in hospitality. So I come from a humble family. So I needed to work to pay for my studies, for everything, basically. My first job when I was 15 years old, actually, it was a server, being a server. Actually, I was doing tomato bread in a restaurant. So that's how all started about. I kind of like it. I was good engaging with the customers. So I was like, okay, I'm really good at it. So I decided to study hospitality management and hotel management. Then I moved to London where I did all my degrees, all my study, blah, 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 blah. During those years, opening restaurants for different people and for different companies, I was always having kind of like a dream that one day I will open one concept. And all over the years, I was opening different concepts and was like, I want to open something that is timeless. Some restaurant that is a traditional restaurant with recipes that they just don't pass. You know what I mean? They stay for forever. And that concept was Macarena.
I love that you use the word timeless. It's always a big one for me as well. So being able to have something that people can really love and enjoy and be able just to not be the new trend on the block for a year or two, but it actually is a timeless place that you really want to be able to go year after year. One of the other things is we wanted to find out about is how did you go about finding your beautiful space in Palo Alto and why Palo Alto?
Okay, so I look at many places. Palo Alto was one of the target. I knew that I need a big space. I was looking for at least 4,200 square feet. It's not easy to find a space in Palo Alto with those measurements that is available at the moment that you are planning to open a restaurant. When you have more locations and you're looking to expand, then maybe you can be patient, just wait a little bit. But this is the first restaurant, so I was like, okay, I needed to make a decision fast and quick. I look at place in San Carlos. I look at place at Campbell. Verdo came into the map as an opportunity. At the beginning, Palo Alto was not in the map for me because there was no availability for us to come to Palo Alto to do anything. But then they reached out to me saying, hey, we have this spot available. It's going to come available in the next 2-3 months. We want to see your concept. We know that you are planning on opening something and we want to talk to you. And I was having the deal done at San Carlos with another restaurant. But then I met the owner, told them my concept, and they fell in love with Macarena. And they were like, no matter what, we want you in our space. And this is how it happened. It was like first love, love at first sight that you guys say.
It's a great, beautiful location. I mean, Palo Alto is definitely our star for locations as well. And it's just what's wonderful about Palo Alto is you have obviously you have Stanford, you have lots of business, you have a huge community following there. I mean, people love to dine out in Palo Alto. It's definitely a great community and a great place, in my opinion, for a restaurant. And then what about looking for funding as far as like opening up your restaurant? What did you need to go through personally, or maybe you didn't? How does that play into opening up a new restaurant?
It plays a huge role, especially if you want to open a concept like this. You need a lot of money, obviously. This is
It looks very expensive.
Yes. I would say 8 angel investors because it's the first location. So there's not really numbers to look at it unless you have your experience, so you can prove what you've done in the past, and that helps you a lot to prove, that you're capable of doing restaurants and opening companies that are profitable. Because if you need to convince someone to invest money in something that doesn't exist, then you need a huge and big business plan, so you can convince and prove that what you're saying it's accurate and it's going to be profitable for them to put the money in. You need investors. That's a big, huge plan, and that was the most difficult part of the project.
I'm sure that for you, it was pretty easy to figure out the menu. What would you say to other people who are looking to open up a new restaurant on how they should go about choosing the menu if they don't already have one in mind?
I think to me, it's being authentic and trusting yourself. It's very important. Sometimes, you have a menu, then you realize you're in Palo Alto, you start overthinking. Like, oh, maybe I'm too risky, and then you start changing the menu just because you're overreacting to the stress of the situation. But I think if you're being patient and being authentic to you and trustful of what you have passion for doing, then that's the way to craft the menu. If you're gonna do just like, I don't know, imagine like I'm doing a Spanish restaurant, just doing like, okay, I'll do fries because I know that people like fries, but that fries is not Spanish, and it doesn't motivate me to have fries in my menu. You need to look for the passion inside of you and for what you really want to sell. So to me, crafting the menu, it's all about that.
So I love that you actually said that about passion. I completely agree. One of the things that just makes me think of another question is how do you enroll and get your team to feel that same passion? So then that way it's being followed through all the way from the whole team, not just the owner.
For me, it's about showing a way of living. And to me, Macarena is a way of living. I'm here every day. I'm the first one getting into the restaurant, the last one going out into the restaurant. It's all about showing them that, you know, it's great, the way of living of Macarena, right? The way of sharing and the way of serving the customers. And if I do it by myself and they see that people are happy, that people are, you know, like, hey, David, thank you so much. Your recipe is great. I love the restaurant. We all like great feedback, to be loved by people. So if I'm able to show them to my people, then my people is going to be able to show that to the customers.
No, it sounds great. It sounds wonderful. And I mean, I've only been there once so far, but that was definitely the experience I had as well. So you're definitely doing it correctly. In regards to opening up your new restaurant, I don't know if you already had connections with architects and general contractors, but can you share a little bit about your experience going through both of those, as well as any tips along the way that if you know, for example, you know, I didn't think about this and I didn't have the right GC. That question didn't come up. So there were some challenges because of that.
Sure. So in terms of the designer, of course, I have a lot of contacts from the past, but I did not use any of it because I wanted to do something very, very different. I just went and looked for a completely new team. I think design is the most complicated part of the process because being able to find someone that is able to put in a paper or in a render what you have in your mind, it's very, very difficult because you don't even know what you have in your mind. In our case, it turned out beautiful. We love 18 studios. It was a no-brainer because they work with Soho House and being involved in that kind of project like Soho House and stuff like that, it was okay. These people know how to create what we're looking for. We wanted to do something like very European. We are in America, obviously. It's complicated. It's more complicated to find someone who is able to do a European concept in the States. And also the timing. The timing was very, very tight. It's the first project, so you have a limited budget, obviously. So every single day goes against your budget. Then the general contractor came with them, actually, because of the timing. We were like, okay, we need a general contractor who can build a restaurant in 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
Wow.
We did it in 2 months. You know, in regular basis, I think this could be easily like 6-7 months time project, but it turned out in 2 months. It was unexpected. I mean, I wasn't even believing that was going to happen on time, but it did happen. I would say that something to have into consideration for future, or if I could change something, was the timing. I was going like very, very tight. The timing, it's powerful for general contractors because they know that you're in the rush and they know you need to open. So scheduling way ahead of time, it's very important. It could give you a huge savings on your project.
I can imagine, especially with all the change orders and everything else that starts to come into play when you are on a very tight schedule.
And then also, you know, having, for example, for us, we took over an existing restaurant that was operating, so that made everything easier for us. So we didn't need to go through permitting. So it was a quick turn because of the city not being involved in terms of plan check and all of that.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to be realistic with the budget and see what you need. I mean, sometimes you want to do crazy things, but it's just not possible because of the timing. So, you know, you need to be realistic too, what things you can do and what not.
I mean, you've had that experience in the past. Yes. Where when you're building out and you have nothing but concrete, yes. You know, and you're building it completely from scratch, it can take up to a year just to build out a restaurant.
A year is a positive way to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's just as a gift box that you open and you don't know what's going to happen once you start construction.
And Bird Dog was a beautiful location and you guys just turned it even more beautiful. I mean, you just really made the space come to life. I know that concept. I was very intimate with the owners as well, and I'm very sad to see them go, but I'm very happy that you're now there. But just to see like how you've evolved that space was just really beautiful, and to see that you did that in 2 months. So kudos to you.
I mean, what that was like the design. She's amazing. The one who did the design, she was amazing.
Yeah.
The timeline, she did great. Yeah, very happy with the results. But thank you so much for saying that.
I think that was most of the questions, unless there's anything else as far as if somebody was opening a restaurant. We talked about menu, we talked about funding, we talked about, architect and GC and the importance and some of the tips and suggestions. Is there anything else if somebody was opening up a new restaurant that you would say, oh, here are these things that I would really make sure you think about before doing so?
I would say, build a strong team. You need these people to help you. It's impossible to do everything on your own. When you try to do everything by yourself, you're at risk that the restaurant or the concept is going to depend on you. And that's a bad sign for the business, because you're not going to be able to stay here 24 hours a day. You need to delegate in people. If something were to happen to you or any emergency that you might have, then the restaurant will not survive. So that's a mistake from the very beginning. And I think it's a mistake that many people do in the restaurant industry. You need to hire the right team and have the right people by your side, because otherwise, you clean the restaurant without even knowing. So sometimes less is also more. It's important for you to be there, obviously, and we all know that we have to live in the restaurant for 3, 4, 5, 6 months until everything is under control. But I think you guys know what I mean, and you, especially you, Mistie, I know you understand what I'm saying.
I definitely feel that for sure. And it's funny because I really want to take that piece of your conversation and send that to a couple of my clients. It's so important to have the right team. And sometimes you go through a struggle, which is, sometimes you have to also evolve. Your team needs to evolve and change, and people come and go. But the more that you have that foundation and setting that example and having that culture, having that training, I think that, you're more successful in the long run. Anything else that you would recommend?
Talk to Mistie. That's the last recommendation I say. Make sure you have Mistie in your contact list. She's great, and she's going to be able to help you at anything you will need. So you definitely need to have her in your contact list if you want to succeed opening a restaurant in the Bay Area. So.
Well, I appreciate that for sure. We'll make sure that's in there.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.